Welcome to the Capital Spreads Look to the Week Ahead. Today is Monday, the 25th of June 2012, and the week as it currently stands has kicked off on quite a negative note. Now this has largely been driven by Spain formally requesting bailout funds in order to help it recapitalise its banks. This is to the tune of about 100 billion euros. Apart from this, there also remain continuing and lingering concerns both about Greece, where many people are wondering whether they will still ask and push for a more favourable terms for its bailout package, and even if they were to receive this, whether they could actually survive bankruptcy. Also sitting on the sidelines is Italy and its rising borrowing costs. Now Italy is considered to be one of those countries that if it does find itself in financial distress, it will be considered too big to be bailed out. There is also an EU summit kicking off on Thursday this week, where many politicians are again promising to help address many of the issues and concerns that investors are having regarding the Eurozone debt crisis. However, it waits to be seen whether anything can actually be done. Despite the Eurozone debt crisis continuing to be a focus of this week, there are also other figures that will certainly help move the markets around. Tomorrow, for example, we have the US consumer confidence coming out. Now we're expecting a small fall from about 64.9 down to 64, and many people will be looking to see whether the US now is also starting to show signs of slowing down. One of the markets that has previously considered to be surviving reasonably well out of the crisis as it currently stands. On Wednesday there is a number of figures to certainly keep an eye on. There will be the US MBA mortgage applications out the US around 12 o'clock. Again, another gauge of how the US housing market, which seems to be one of the dominant markets in the US, seems to be doing. Later on at 1 o'clock we have the German CPI figure. Now again we're expecting a small rise of about 0.7%, while the afternoon will probably be dominated by both the US durable good figures, which are due at 1:30, as well as the US oil inventories. Now oil inventories have been moving, oil in particular I should say, has been moving around quite aggressively recently. However, this has largely been reflecting how the economy is doing rather than just inventories on their own. I believe the biggest day of the week in terms of figures and economic and political announcement will probably be Thursday, where you have the day starting off with UK GDP at 9:30. Again, we're expecting a small contraction to 0.3% there. Later on you're going to have the US GDP at 1:30, as well as jobless claims, while against the background of all these figures you're going to also have the EU summit starting, and many people will be watching that very closely. We'll end up rounding the week off on Friday with EU CPI coming out on Friday, expecting an unchanged figure of 2.4% there. Later on Friday afternoon we'll have the US personal consumption expenditure figure, and we'll be rounding off the week with Chicago PMI, where we're expecting an unchanged figure of 53, and a University of Michigan consumer confidence figure. Again, we're expecting an unchanged figure of 74.1%. That's it for now. As usual, if you have any feedback, it's media@capitalspreads.com.